actually. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I hope you are. So, good evening, everyone. This is our second meeting, and I am really sorry for the from Fahmi. No, I mean kesalahan teknis in my laptop, so I can't record our second meeting session. So I re-recording the second meeting for the second meeting, which is that we are going to talking about is narrative, prose, and then novel. So from module 2 and 3, jadi dari modul dan 3, I concluding, I got all the topic, saya ambil semua topiknya, and then I put it into one, saya gabungkan menjadi satu, and here it is, narrative, prose, and novel. So what we're going to translate today, apa yang akan kita translate, I'm really sorry. Jadi apa yang akan kita kerjakan hari ini, what we are going to translate adalah teks naratif. Why is it going to so fast? I'm sorry. So, back at it again. Teks naratif, prosa, and novel. So, apa itu naratif, apa itu prose, dan apa itu novel? So, here it is. Narrative is any report of connected events, actual or imaginary, presented in a sequence of written or spoken words, or still or moving image. So, naratif itu adalah laporan kejadian yang berkelanjutan, as you can see here, of connected events, whether it is actual or imaginary. Jadi kalimat teks naratif bisa berupa kejadian yang sebenarnya atau karangan belaka. Presented in a sequence of written dan and presented, presented itu dipersembahkan, dituangkan ke bentuk tulisan or spoken word atau orally atau langsung. So when you guys talking to your friends, jadi pada saat teman-teman sekalian itu ngobrol ke temannya, menceritakan kejadian suatu, what you guys experienced in the past, something like that, you go talk to your friend, menceritakan detailnya, what's going on with you. For example, last week you went to a holiday or something, kalian pergi liburan atau sebagainya, and then you go talk to your friend, dan kalian ceritakan ke teman kalian. It could be a narrative. Itu sudah merupakan termasuk naratif in a spoken words, because you told them, because kalian ceritakan langsung. And what is narrative in written? Well, you write it down, like you write it, cerita pendek or something like that. We call that also narrative. Or it could be an images, atau ini bisa juga dalam moving images. You use a photo and then you talk to your friend what was going on in that photo. That could be narrative. And then let's move on to the prose. Apa itu prose? Prose itu a form of language that has no formal metrical structure. It applies a natural flow of speech and ordinary grammatical structure rather than rhythmic structure, such as in the case of traditional poetry. So, prose itu bentuk bahasa yang bentuknya tidak formal. So it apply a natural flow of speech. Jadi it just mengalir begitu saja. Jadi when you tell a narrative, you put it, kalian ketika menuliskan cerita naratif atau menceritakan suatu kejadian, when you talk to your friends, prose adalah bentuk bahasa yang kalian gunakan. So as you can see here, I put it into panah-panah seperti ini karena naratif prose dan novel itu there have connection. Jadi mereka saling berkesinambungan because they connected. Jadi dari naratif dan bentuk bahasa yang digunakan dalam menceritakan naratif itulah yang kita sebut dengan prose. Because itu nggak ada kayak just not like a poetry, bukan seperti puisi yang punya sajak AB, first one, bait 1, bait 2 dan sebagainya. It's just flowing. Jadi nggak ada struktur tertentu, tidak ada bentuk tertentu pada prose. So it's just naturally flowing, something like that. And then, what is novel? Dan apa itu novel? Novel is a fictitious prose narrative of a book length, typically representing character and action with some degree of realism. So, novel adalah bentuk fiksi dari naratif prose text. Dan banyaknya itu seukuran buku. As you can see, novel, well, if it's just a one thin paper, it's not a novel, because we call that. Kalau cuma selembar kertas mah kita bilangnya cerpen atau cerita, how to say, like in a magazine, di majalah-majalah itu kan sering cerpen, cerber, whatever. But it's not a novel. It could be a narrative, itu bisa bentuk naratif, but it's not a novel because novel harus bentuknya itu harus bentuk buku. Ukurannya itu seukuran buku. And then typically, biasanya representing a character. Ada karakter di buku itu. There's someone there who play in your book. So it's just like a sinetron, a soap opera. Jadi di sinetron ada karakter dan sebagainya. And then bentuk writtennya, that's what we call novel. Jadi itu yang kita sebut novel. Ada karakter, ada action, well, with some degree of realism. But it's not, novel tidak melulu, how to say, fiksi. Well, they are fiksi, tapi ada they still make sense. Jadi mereka masih how to say that in bahasa, masih masuk akal ceritanya. Right, you got it? So let's move on. And then that's what we're going to talk about. Kita akan bahas language point that using narrative, prose, and novel. Jadi ada 6 language points yang digunakan di naratif. Yang pertama ing form, of, to mean or to be, past simple and past continuous, comparative and superlative, and then to happen. Kita akan bahas satu-satu after I talk. Setelah kita lihat apa-apa saja language point di masing-masing text, and then let's move on untuk bahas lebih dalam. We dig deeper. Kita bahas lebih dalam lagi apa itu language point masing-masing. This one is prose. Kalau tadi naratif, ini prose. We have reflexives, past simple and past continuous, present perfect continuous and present perfect, whose, and then any or anything, and then Saxon genitive. Here, reflexive is a pronoun that ends in self or selves, and is an object that refers to a previously named noun or pronoun. Reflexive. As you can see, kalau kita kacaan, we see our reflection. Kita lihat pantulan kita. So it's just pretty much like that. As you can see, I like singing, and then I like singing myself, and then you call that myself as reflexive of you. And then the Saxon genitive is used as a way to refer to possession, possessive case. Jadi pada saat kita ngeklaim sesuatu yang merupakan milik kita, like that is mine, and then that is yours. Well, the bottles, whose bottles is that? As you can see, whose bottles is that? Botol siapa itu? And then you see there's an S after the bottle. And we can talk about it later. Next one is language points in novel. We have 6 as well. A rather unfairly time clause introduced by one whole in the indefinite article and then the imperative. And had better. So better here di novel-novel tuh sering sekali kita jumpai language point yang seperti ini. Okay, let's move on. ing form. So in English, we have, as you can see there, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 form in English. The first one is the basic form without add anything into the verb, tanpa tambahan apapun di verbnya. It just simply like eat, walk, sing, shower, throw, sleep, and blah blah blah. No adding anything. You not add anything after the verb. Jadi tidak ada tambahan apapun. Because they're just basic bentuk dasar verbnya in English, of course. And then there's an S form. You guys usually use S form in simple present tense after the subject. Of course, not you just not simply put an S into the verb unless it is she, he, it subject. Jadi kita tidak asal-asalan menambahkan S di belakang kata-kata kerja kalau mereka itu bukan orang ketiga tunggal. You guys learn it in a high school or something. So you just put an S or walks after the verb. She walks to the school every day. She eats a lot, and something like that. And then there we have ed form. Also, we call it verb 2, second verb. We have ate or walk. You not put eat it. No, that we have rules for that. Jadi ada ketentuan dalam di kata kerja. Whether they are kata kerja beraturan or not. So that was it. And then ing form. This is what we are going to do. Actually, ing form use when verbs followed by gerund and then subject or sentence, and then ing form, we usually use that in a present continuous tense because it's still continue. Kita biasa menemukan ing ini di present continuous tense or whatever it is that start with continue, because continue, as you can see, continue, berkelanjutan. That means itu artinya kerjaan itu masih sedang berlanjut. Like I am eating now. Can you see? Saya lagi makan loh, tolong deh. Because you still eating. Jadi eating itu masih sedang berlangsung. You're not just because if you eat, that's it, you eat. You stop eating. But when you put ing behind the verb, it means that you still in the progress of doing that verb. Jadi kalian sedang melakukan pekerjaan itu. It's still in progress. Okay? Let's move on today. Next one is past simple and past continuous. Here's the difference. I think we already talked about it last week, but let's see whether you guys still remember or not. So simple past versus simple continuous. As you can see here, simple past used when we use the simple past to talk about completed action, habits, and facts in the past. Jadi kita menggunakan simple past itu di saat pekerjaan yang sudah diselesaikan, and then kebiasaan and facts dan fakta in the past, di masa lalu. So here some example of it. I went to the cinema yesterday. As you can see, yesterday means that completed action. Jadi pekerjaannya sudah selesai. Saya pergi ke bioskop semalam. So it means that, that's it. Semalam saya sudah ke bioskop. Artinya ke bioskopnya udah selesai, nonton filmnya udah selesai. So the next one is I always visited my grandparents in my summer holidays when I was little. Saya dulunya itu sering mengunjungi kakek nenek saya di liburan summer, di liburan musim panas. When I was a little, ketika saya masih kecil. That means this is a habit, right? Kebiasaan. What we're talking about simple past is the habits that in the past. That means this is no longer access. Jadi ini tuh nggak ada lagi sekarang. Soalnya kan dia udah gede. Now I am like 22 years old. No more visiting my grandparents. So that habit is in the past. Kebiasaan itu waktu dia kecil. Not anymore. Nggak lagi. And facts in the past. I lived near Liverpool for a couple of years. As you can see, they use live as a past tense because mereka nggak lagi tinggal di Liverpool. They're probably moving on to another city like Manchester or something. And what is past continuous? Past continuous is used to express one interrupted action, specific time as an interruption and parallel action. So jadi we use digunakannya past continuous itu pada saat kejadian yang sedang berlangsung, but we interrupt, we pause, we delay. Kita tungguin dulu ini. Kayak kita there's something I want to do. Saya mau ngerjain dulu, tunggu dulu deh. Saya tunda dulu dong kerjaan yang saya sedang lakukan ini. As you can see there as an example, contohnya, I was watching TV when the phone rang. Aku tuh tadi lagi nonton, terus teleponnya bunyi. That means there was something that got interrupted. Jadi ada satu action di situ yang diganggu oleh bunyinya telepon itu. So that means was watching TV was a past continuous. Well, we call that past continuous because setelah nanti misalnya setelah diangkat telepon, well he can still watching TV. Dia bisa kan balik lagi ngelanjutin TV-nya. But it was interrupted. Ini tuh diganggu sama bunyinya telepon tadi. Jadi di pause dulu nonton TV-nya, and then you take your phone, angkat telepon dulu, and then you can continue what you do. What was you doing? And last night at 7 p.m. I was having a dinner. Specific time as an interruption. So, semalam jam 7, I was having a dinner. Aku tuh lagi ada makan malam. Okay, and then parallel action. While she was doing her homework, her brother was playing football. Parallel, ada kejadian atau action yang bersamaan. Jadi si kakak lagi ngerjain PR, terus adiknya lagi main bola di luar. Okay? And comparative and superlative. What is comparative and superlative adjective? Comparative, as the name, jadi kayak namanya itu comparative, we compare, kita membandingkan a quality of two people or two things. Jadi kita membandingkan kualitas dua benda atau sesuatu. No, both. Ada dua benda yang kita bandingkan atau orang yang kita bandingkan. Tapi dua. It's only two. And then superlative adjective. Superlative ini kita gunakan when we use to compare a quality of a person, thing with everyone in their group. Jadi kalau tadi compare itu membandingkan dua saja, superlatif itu kita membandingkan banyak orang. And then we can like compare three of them. Si A lebih cantik dari si B lebih cantik dari si C. We can't do that. Kalau tiga orang tuh kita nggak bisa, dia lebih cantik dari itu, dia lebih bagus dari itu. No, we choose who is the super one there. Jadi kita pilih satu yang paling super. Let's say yang paling cantik. Di kelas itu yang paling cantik tuh let's say si Rani or something like that. When you compare to people, kita bisa kan bilangnya, oh Rani lebih cantik daripada Rini, something like that. But when they have more than two people, we can like choose randomly. Jadi pilih aja salah satu yang paling super, yang supernya di situ, and then you choose, then you call them. So, apa yang kita language coin apa yang kita gunakan untuk membedakan orang atau memilih yang super di antara grup seperti itu? Here you go. Biasanya kita pakai ER, pakai akhiran ER, and then kalau kita menggunakan superlative, kita pakai ST. Usually. Yang paling simpelnya tuh pakai seperti itu. As you can see here, Mari is taller than Anna. Well, Anna is shorter than Mary. And Sarah is the tallest girl in the class. So you can see the difference, right? Mari lebih tinggi dari Anna lebih pendek dari Mary. Tapi Sarah yang paling tinggi di kelasnya. So that was about comparative and superlative. Let's move on to reflexives. Here, tadi kan saya sudah bilang, when you kalau kita kacaan, take a look at our reflection. Kita lihat refleksi kita di pantulan kita. So it's pretty much the same when you guys use subject pronouns and reflexive pronouns. Pantulan itu, they're still the same one, but we use different word. Like, I love myself, something like that. You can do it yourself. Kau bisa lah kerjainnya itu sendiri. And then as a plural and then as a singular, as that was a singular. Itu yourself is a singular and then plural. Jamaknya kita gunakan as usual, es, so the back. So here the list. Let's see the example. We can't use me, but use myself. Like, she cut herself. Oh my god. She read by herself. Dia bacanya itu sendiri. So I think it's just easy, right? Let's move on. Present perfect and perfect continuous. So here it is. We have talked about it also last week. So penggunaannya itu present perfect simple expresses an action is still going on or that stopped recently. Present perfect itu mengekspresikan kejadian yang masih sedang berlangsung atau baru-baru saja berhenti. Like, baru saja selesai. But has an influence on the present. Tapi there has a, tapi ada pengaruhnya di masa sekarang ini. It was emphasized on the result. Jadi, fokusnya present perfect simple itu ke resultnya. Like, some example, I have written 5 letters. Saya sudah menulis 5 surat. The result they've been writing is 5 letters. Jadi dia sudah, sampai sekarang tuh resultnya itu 5 letters. Okay. They more focus on the result. And then simple present perfect simple also something that can influence the present, bisa mempengaruhi masa sekarang. Well, boleh saja dia sudah menulis 5 surat, but there has a chance, tapi bakalan ada kesempatan dia bakalan nulis more, they can write more, dia nulis banyak lagi, more than 5 letters, lebih dari 5 letters maybe. Well, let's see the present or the future. And then what is present perfect continuous? The present perfect progressive express an action that recently stopped or is still going on. It was emphasized on the duration of course in the action. Kalau yang tadi fokus ke resultnya, this one is focused on the time. As you can see as an example, I've been playing football since 3 o'clock. That means, well, he still could be playing football, but he just stopped. And then they focus on how long he's been playing football. Since 3 o'clock. Okay? That's about present perfect and perfect continuous. Let's move on to whose. So whose is just simply refers to ownership or possession of something. Jadi whose ini menyatakan kepemilikan akan sesuatu. Whose book is that? Whose book is that? Jadi kita mempertanyakan kepunyaan kepunyaan buku itu. Buku siapa ini? So we use whose. And then I want to know whose car is parked outside the house. Saya mau tahu dong, mobil siapa sih yang parkir di luar itu? And then whose house is the party going to be at tonight? Rumah siapa nih yang nantinya bakalan ada pesta? So, whose can be used with a noun or without a noun. So, whose ini more we use whose untuk menyatakan kepemilikan akan sesuatu. While who is used as the subject, used when referring to a person. Jadi, kalau tadi whose itu menyatakan kepemilikan benda, nah who-nya itu orangnya dia. Like, who went to the store? Siapa yang pergi? Who can come to the party? Siapa yang nggak bisa pergi ke party? Who likes ice cream? Siapa yang suka ice cream? You got it? Kalau yang tadi tuh lebih ke bendanya. Ini buku siapa ya? Siapa yang suka buku ini? Can you see the difference? Yeah. The one is emphasizing and kepunyaan. Yang satu lagi tuh subjeknya. Orangnya. Okay. Thank you. And next one is, this is another definition of whose. Another example of whose. Whose is who has, who is. Well, whose belonging to whom. Okay? Just pretty much the same. The next one is Saxon genitive. So, as I was saying, jadi seperti yang saya bilang tadi, two ways to show possession. Dua cara untuk Saxon genitive itu sesuatu what we call when we claim something. Jadi kita claim itu punya kita. Like for example, as with people and animals, the boys' ball. That means boys here, ball belongs to the boys. Itu tuh bolanya si adik. Okay, the boys' ball, bolanya si adik. The girl's dog. So, this is when you use Saxon genitive, ada pakai tanda petik, and then as, to say your possession, untuk menyatakan kepemilikan. Tapi kalau bentuknya jamak, you can see here, the girls, there are two girls there. Not only one girl, bukan satu kakak-kakak, bukan satu dedek-dedek, tapi ada dua dedek-dedek wanita di situ. And then, you just simply put the quotation. Jadi, satu aja tanda kutipnya. Okay? That was Saxon genitive. And then, let's move on to rather and fairly. Rather, here, menyatakan adverbs of degree. Jadi, rather or, well, he speaks English. Ini adverbs of degree. Jadi, how to say that degree? Kadar or tingkatan or derajat. Well, I think it's let's call it tingkatan kemampuan. To make it easier to understand, supaya ngerti lebih bagus, kayaknya kita let's just move on to the example. He speaks English fairly well. So, levelnya itu dari fairly, quiet, rather pretty, and then very. So, yang paling at the bottom, level yang paling bawah itu fairly, because it's still so 50-50. And then quiet itu fairly, let's say fairly in bahasa we call that agak. And then quiet lumayan. Oh no, fairly is bagus. And then quiet is agak bagus. And then rather pretty, lumayan bagus. And then very, sangat bagus. So, as you can, sekali lagi,